Oh, for sake, sold that batting goal! Oh my God! He is absolute shit! What an absolute...
This past season, it wasn't just Manchester United players who got loving treatment from their fans. There were others who completely flopped and still look like they need a bigger goal and a whole lot more patience. Now maybe one club can afford to be patient, but two in the same season? That's a stretch. Just ask João Félix, modern football's eternal lost talent. At 25, he's already worn more shirts than he has standout seasons. And this time it was Milan's turn to thrive and fail to unlock the 126 million man. After an underwhelming spell at Chelsea, João landed at San Siro in January on his second loan of the season. And once again, silky touches, no end product. He never nailed down a starting spot, didn't shine off the bench either, and his contribution was so minimal that the Italian press wrote him off almost instantly. Milan had no plans to extend his loan, and now João heads into yet another summer in limbo, still without a team, and still without the same old question: will he ever live up to the hype? Then there's Rasmus Højlund, another maybe next season kind of player. A year ago, there was still a reason to be patient with the young Dane. He had just arrived from Atalanta for 78 million, and while his first season was inconsistent, he at least showed flashes of promise toward the end. But in 2024-2025, that patience started to run out. He played 32 Premier League matches, started most of them, and still only managed 4 goals and 1 assist. The problem wasn't just finishing, his overall play raised questions too. Not great off the ball, not as strong in the hold-up play, and barely a threat. And of course, the usual excuse made a comeback. United is cursed, because it's not just Højlund. Almost no one has performed there in recent years. And when they leave, just look at Anthony Goat suddenly remembering how to play football. Coincidence? Maybe not. Now, I know the next name is no longer a young promise, but he had to be in this video. Darwin Núñez. That's right, Liverpool's most expensive signing ever. His first season was rocky, the second looked a lot more promising with 18 goals and 15 assists, and the third, well, let's just say his English improved more than his finishing. Under Arne Slot, it was clear from day one there's no room for missing sitters, and Darwin didn't exactly help his case. Across all competitions, he scored just 7 goals and added 6 assists. His confidence collapsed, just like the patience of Liverpool fans. At 25, Darwin still has potential, but Liverpool need to sell, and let's be honest, they'll be lucky to get back even half of what they paid. What once looked like a long-term project now feels more like a long-term headache. And if you thought bad signings were a Premier League exclusive, Juventus would like a word. After 5 solid years at Aston Villa, Douglas Luiz was one of Juve's big signings last summer. They paid over 50 million euros, and just to keep him happy, they even brought in his partner, Alicia Lehmann. Yes, the same player who, for some reason I still don't understand, managed to appear in every single women's football thumbnail on YouTube. It looked like a move designed to keep both love and football alive, but it didn't go according to plan. Between nagging injuries, coaching changes, and an adaptation that never happened, Douglas Luiz managed just 516 minutes in Serie A. He spent more time on the bench than on the pitch, and now, a year later, his value has tanked, and Juventus, of course, are already trying to offload him. What was supposed to be a top-tier signing was turned into an unsolved mystery. And now clubs like Nottingham Forest or even Manchester United, because of course, are circling like it's a clearance sale. The one who no longer looks fixable is Álvaro Morata. Less than a year ago, he was lifting the Euro trophy as captain of a rejuvenated Spanish national team. Since then, he's basically become persona non grata, and honestly, he might have a restraining order from half of Spain by now. He signed for AC Milan for 11 million, and in just 6 months, he went from experienced reinforcement to please get him out of here. He scored just 6 goals and provided 2 assists in 25 matches before being shipped out on loan to Galatasaray, where things were slightly better. 16 appearances, 7 goals, 3 assists in a league that on paper should have been easy for him. And just to put the cherry on top of a tragic season, he came off the bench in the Nations League final only to miss the decisive penalty and, in the process, give Lamine Yamal the record for becoming the youngest player in football history to want to punch a teammate. And while he's not Spanish, Ronald Araujo in La Liga, specifically with Barcelona, seemed destined to be the future leader of their defense. Unfortunately, he also seemed destined to get injured more often than strikers who crossed paths with Pepe and Sergio Ramos. At 26, Araujo was already a 2-time La Liga champion, and look, one step away from being the captain. But this season, everything changed. A hamstring injury during the Copa America kept him out for months, and even when he returned, he just wasn't the same. He appeared in only 11 of the 36 league games Barca needed to clinch the title. His performances were inconsistent, bouncing between the starter and bench, and his mistakes started weighing heavier than his leadership. So much so that during the Champions League semi-final, he looked more like Inter Milan's 12th man than Barcelona's defensive rock. A year ago, Araujo was worth 70 million euros. Now, they'd be lucky to get half that. And while Barcelona are still wondering what went wrong with Araujo, over Manchester, they are asking the same question about Phil Foden. He was coming off the best season of his career, 19 goals and 8 assists, and practically a baby every season. No wonder he was named the Premier League Player of the Year 2023-2024, but within months, Foden came crashing back down to earth. Between ankle issues, personal problems of the pitch, and a noticeable dip in form, he ended the season with just 7 goals and 2 assists in the league. Even he admitted it was a frustrating season, both mentally and physically, and at just 25, what was supposed to be his breakout moment turned into a giant pause button. His market value took a nosedive, and now he's gone from being the face of the league to fighting for a spot in Pep's 11. The big question now is whether he will bounce back or whether this is the start of a slow fade. And then there's Jack Grealish, once the most expensive English player ever, costing 118 million euros and carrying the hopes of Aston Villa fans everywhere. But after partying for a full week post-Champions League, his contribution this season was, let's just say, underwhelming. Only 7 Premier League starts, 1 goal, 1 assist, and not even a spot in the Club World Cup squad. City basically told him, take your time and maybe find a new club while you are at it. His value has plummeted, and right now, the only serious interest seems to be from Everton, the club that collects failed projects like it's part of their recruitment strategy. At 29, Grealish still has talent, but his current trajectory looks more like a slow fade into irrelevance than a second wind. And of course, this list could go on, but for now, these were my top flops of the season: big price tags, small returns, and a goal bridge level meltdown waiting to happen. Who else would you add to the list? Drop it in the comments, and see you in the next video.